Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Once again, welcome to online class. Hopefully, you all would be in the best of your health. In today's lecture, I would discuss a short essay, "Shooting an Elephant" by George Orwell. So, in this video lecture, I would discuss is for the brief introduction of the writer. The second is for the context or the background of this very story, or this what is for the very writer George Orwell writing this very essay. And the third one is for I would summarize this very essay. So let us come to the first is for the introduction of the writer is. Basically, George Orwell is the pen name of this what the British novelist, a critic, an essayist, a journalist, and whose real name is for Eric Arthur Blair. He was born in 1903 and died in 1950. Is for what he wrote with his pen name George Orwell, and he is famous, or is for well known for his novels Animal Farm 1945, and the second one 1984, what he wrote in 1949. So basically he is well known or famous for these two novels, and he is a dystopian novelist. Dystopian is for this what the word dystopian is the opposite of utopia. Is for in utopia what has been idealized, what has been is for that what something is perfect or something is very ideal. Dystopian is something what the opposite is for what has been criticized, what has been attacked, that what something is dehumanized or something what going wrong. So as for in this genre of fiction, what we do find is for all those what totalitarian, this what is for the government has been attacked, and is for what the imperialism has been attacked, is for what has been that what something is shown perfect and ideal. It is not what it is. It is what there is something wrong, what there is something what exploitation and all these things. So as for his work is characterized by this what is for lucid prose, for his biting social criticism, and his opposition to as far totalitarianism. It is what he is against imperialism, what he is against in this what, in other words, against communism, all those states, all those what governments, what all those dictatorships is for. Is for what the context of writing this essay is, what the background is. Basically, it is what I may say an autobiographical essay. Basically, this what narrated the story in the form of essay. It is an essay, and what it is narrated in the form of a story. It is about British imperialism and British imperialism in Burma. This was as for the essay was told in first person pronoun, and what we do find is for the very narrator is basically the writer George Orwell is, and this is what we find the first-hand experience of the writer is he is the narrator, and when he was a young man, and what is for a young man, and he was there in Burma is a police officer in Indian Imperial, this what is police. So as a young police officer, what he worked there in India, in Imperial Indian is for police, and in 1920s is for Burma. Burma is which became a province of India in 1886, and then what became a part of India. So what imperialism is, basically this very term is for, it is what when those what powerful countries like British, what they just attacked and what they just occupied all those what is for weak, poor and underdeveloped countries. For what purposes? Is for to exploit all those countries what they just took under control, is for the subcontinent, among them is for to exploit all those countries economically, politically, geographically, is for. So the India is one of them. Burma was the part of India. Burma was the province of India. So he was there as a young police officer in 1920s. He served in is for in Indian Imperial uh, Police. So is for he served there is for 5 years, and then he resigned and returned to England in 1928. And then after what he wrote this essay in 1936. He resigned in 1928 and then returned to England, and after that he wrote this essay in 1936. So what we do find is for what the essay records to different perspective of the writer George Orwell. Is for he was there serving in Indian Imperial Police, and he returned to England in 1928, and then after these years what he wrote this essay in 1936 when he was a mature writer. So this is what we do find these two perspectives. One perspective is for is that when he was a police officer, a young police officer working there in Indian Imperial Police in Burma, and then what is for the second perspective is when he was a mature writer and when he wrote this essay. So is for the third is what the summary of this very essay is. Basically, what I told is what that this is what the personal experience of the writer himself, and is for is the narrator, and what the narrator talks about his experience with an incident that took place when he was a young police officer, is for what I told you, and what he had to work there as an agent of imperialism, is for in spite of his hatred towards it. What he hated imperialism. What he hated this what British Empire for this very imperialism, for this very is for this very thing. But it was he was a young man, and what he was serving there. So that's what he had to work. And then what he describes an incident of shooting an elephant. This was basically an incident of shooting an elephant, and which gave him an insight into a real this what for real nature of imperialism. This trivial incident of shooting an elephant gave him a real insight into the nature of imperialism, that what the imperialism is and what the effects of imperialism is. So what he was assigned a task of, what he was assigned a task of shooting an elephant. And why is for the elephant that what had gone mad, because of must or because of madness. जी आती पागल हो गया था, ठीक है, और उसको ज़ाहिर बात है जब आती पागल हो जाता है तो फिर किसी के काबू में नहीं आता और बहुत सारा वो नुकसान करता है. So this what the reason was, that he was assigned the task of shooting an elephant, or what the elephant what destroyed the property, and what ravaging the bazaar, and what is for what finally killed an Indian coolie. एक इंडियन कुली जो था गरीब आदमी, उसको भी रोंद के उसने मार डाला. So it was this what is for what the situation was. And now the narrator is for the writer himself, what is he was a police officer, so he was assigned to kill this mad elephant. So in the first what we do find that is for what the narrator what the narrator has no intention What he had no intention to kill or to shoot the elephant. He just what took the rifle as far just to what as far to keep the situation under control. वो सिर्फ सिचुएशन को कंट्रोल करना चाहता है, उसका कोई ऐसा इरादा नहीं होता कि उस एलिफेंट को क्या कर ले, मार दे। ठीक है, राइफल उसने ले लिया था, जाहिर बात है अपने डिफेंस के तौर पर भी, लेकिन वो उसको मारना नहीं चाहता था। नाउ इज फॉर व्हाट द is for the stories, he went to the place, and what is for he was followed by an immense crowd. What this what the crowd of local people, of natives, what they followed him. And why they followed him? Just for fun. For fun is for what they just want to see this very incident, what the British police officer, what is for what he does with is for with the elephant. So they just what followed the narrator, and which is what the crowd is. uh, as I told you, despite of his unwillingness to kill or to shoot this elephant, but he was preoccupied. He was preoccupied by this what by the thought of being laughed at by the crowd. Is for what he was preoccupied by the thought of being laughed at by the natives, by that very immense crowd. What he just then what in the end, what he just decided to shoot or to kill the elephant. उस वो कत्ल तो नहीं करना चाहता, वो मारना नहीं चाहता उस एलिफेंट को, लेकिन आखिर में असल में इस डर से, इस खौफ से, इसके जहन में जो है डर और खौफ था कि जी ये मेरे ऊपर हंसेंगे और मेरा मजाक उड़ाएंगे, बस इस सोच, इस ख्याल ने इसको, उस आदमी को जो है वो मारने पे मजबूर कर दिया। ठीक, तो एक बड़ा इंसिडेंट था एक एलिफेंट का कि मारने का, उसके जो है इसके कत्ल करने का, लेकिन इससे वो बहुत कुछ उसके जहन में चलता है और बहुत कुछ उससे वो सीखता है। दिस व्हाट इट इज फॉर व्हाट द स्टोरी इज। इंशाल्लाह this what I will discuss in next lecture is for what the theme or the central idea of this very essay is. Thank you very much.